Well, thanks so much, everybody. It's a blessing to be here. I was very tempted to wear my number 7 Kansas City Chiefs jersey tonight. Good job, brother. Good job. Went scorched earth on the woke madness, did he not? Good stuff. So what I'm going to talk about tonight briefly, because I don't have terribly long, is why I accepted the invitation to come here, because we need this kind of Catholic education environment because of the craziness of our times. You know this. That's why you're here. Now, I say this as a convert because I've been a Catholic now for 31 years. I've been a priest for 21, and I'm extremely grateful for my vocation. I love being a priest. It's such a great blessing. But I have to say, in light of why we're here tonight, had God called me in my conversion to the vocation to be a husband and a father, I can tell you right now, there is no way that I would have sent my children to a secular school, that's for sure, because if my son came home from a secular school one day with blue hair, wearing a bra, identifying as a turtle, and wanting to join the girls' sports team, we're moving to Idaho. You know, we're out of here. There's no way I would put up with that nonsense. I'd have to teach my son how to gut a deer and, grow a pair. I really would. I don't. This woke madness is driving me nuts, my friends. Society we've lost our minds. It's absolutely crazy out there right now. And so, in my vocation as a priest, I don't take any delight in saying this, trust me. But I have to say, I'm not even sure that I would send my children to the vast majority of Catholic schools. I don't delight in saying that. And there are good ones out there. I've seen them, I've been there, but it's a handful. As I've been invited to speak at Catholic high schools and such, oftentimes when I go in, it's a wasteland. What I see and I observe, especially from the faculty, the staff, the administration, spiritually dead, lukewarm, not passing on the deposit of faith, not teaching these children about virtue and holiness and sanctification and about the saints, about Our Lady and the great Saint Joseph. No. Oftentimes, the people on the faculty and the staff, they're not even Catholic. Sometimes they teach in the religion, or if they have a theology department, the theology department. And it's a train wreck. I've seen it. I have friends, many, who have graduated from great Catholic universities, the few that there are, and they've gone to places to teach in these schools, and it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. And this is why we need something like Regina Caeli Academy, because without it, we're in trouble. What's going to happen to the youth if they don't have that solid foundation, if they're not being given the example of the truth? It's going to be a mess. So that's why for myself, in my priesthood, 21 years now, I put a lot of emphasis on doing what I can do as a priest, because I'm not a teacher in a school, but if you know anything about the books I write and all those things, I hammer issues like the Rosary and its importance, because it is a school of theology for the individual, for couples, for the family, and I've been hammering that because Our Lady told us to pray the Rosary. And at Regina Caeli, you're going to learn things like the Rosary. Or, I'm sure you're aware of this, in the last 5 years or so, I've been really emphasizing Saint Joseph because of the anthropological crises that we have right now. In society, and sadly, even in the church, there's a certain patricide that's happening. A killing of the fathers, a trying to get rid of fatherhood and its importance to the family, society, and even in the church. And I don't know how to speak synod. I don't know that language. I'm just I'm black and white. Maybe it's because I'm Generation X or something. I don't know how to speak in gobbledygook and all the nonsense. I like clarity. And so when I think about the times, I think about the emphasis on getting back the importance of the family. And that's in fact what Regina Caeli is all about, and why it's important that we support it. And why you're here tonight to support it. By your prayer, primarily. And when you pray your rosary, please have as your intention, on occasion, this incredible academy and what they do, the good that it will do. Because, as the butt kicker says, I'm always scared to say your last name, by the way. I think I'm going to say it wrong and get in trouble. So you identify as butt kicker, so that's how I'll identify you. As he says, echoing Jesus Christ, what an academy like this can do is turn out mothers and wives faithful to Christ, husbands and fathers faithful to Christ. And in this kind of Catholic environment, there will be the seeds planted of holy vocations, of men who will be helped to discern a vocation to the priesthood and become a holy priest, of girls who will want to be a bride of Christ and become a nun, become a sister. This is the environment where it will flourish, where it will be nourished. And that's what we need today in such a profound way. One of the reasons that I emphasize St. Joseph so much of late is because of this woke culture that we live in, and where you can go to school, secular and tragically sometimes even the Catholic ones, where there's so much confusion. And you won't find this in Regina Coeli Academy. You're not going to find things like this. Boys wanting to be girls, girls wanting to be boys. A confusion of which bathroom to use. They're not going to be encouraged to have transgender godparents. How sad are the times? They're not going to grow up to want to be, and this blows my mind, just the other day you all probably were made aware of this, transgender hermit. What is this? See, if we don't recover Catholic education at its roots, we're in big trouble. So this is why we're here tonight, my friends. Today I was privileged and blessed to go to the offices of 206 Tours, which is the best Catholic pilgrimage agency. They're so amazing. Malanka and Charlie are here, the founder. They have an office here in Nashville. They're amazing people. And I said Mass for them. And I reminded the staff that today is the liturgical feast of Mary, Help of Christians, which is a title and a liturgical feast established to remind us of the threat of radical Islam, which is still a threat, of course. But see, the threat today is not only from the outside, it's from the inside often. So much confusion, so much. You know this. What you will not, the children who attend Regina Coeli Academy will not learn are things like this, which they would learn in the secular schools and sometimes even in the Catholic ones. Secularism, socialism, modernism, the rainbow cult, or the ecological fear porn rammed down everybody's throat constantly by Greta and company, and sometimes with the applause of the hierarchy. Whoa. This has got to change, my friends. And this is why you good people with these heavy hitters, I have to say, when I was invited here to speak, I said, wow, these are the big guns. These are the people that I look up to, that inspire me. And I was like, why did they invite me? Probably because they know that I'm not PC, I'm a straight shooter, and I'm trying not to get canceled. It's so hard. It is so hard. But these things need to be said in these crazy, evil times that we live in. And my friends, you can be a part of bringing about a revolution in Catholic education again, where people can look to what is being done here and want to replicate it and see that it actually works. And then we can get the parochial school system back. We can get this stuff back into dioceses, because the only reason that basically this exists is because there has been an epic collapse of the Catholic education system. That's why this exists. And praise God that it does. And you, my friends, are being invited to be a part of this. So I want to encourage you as a priest to be generous in your prayers, in your devotions. Have this intention in mind, and in your giving. Now, they're going to be doing all that stuff tonight, but as a priest, really and truly, you guys have the means to help this organization in a tremendous way, and the children that you will help to become saints, because that's what life is all about. It's not some ideological thing that's being taught in some other system. No, it's about helping these young people to acquire virtue and to become holy for the future. So my friends, do this tonight. When you hear the other great speakers, when you're inspired by them, I know I will be, when the time comes to make that gift, be generous. Because as a priest, I can say there's nothing that touches my heart more to be at these kind of events where people of like mind are together, united, and want to do what is right. And tonight, that's what we want to do. God bless you.